relax.
The fuck you mean, relax?
You want something more than just physical. It been a while since you met someone original. You spend your time drinking wine in your living room. All that good pussy can't find the one to give it to. It's a shame. You see me, see the squad, it's a game. You see him, it's a bum, it's a lame. But it's a difference between me and what's his name.
Tell me something good.
My sister turns 50 tomorrow.
How do you feel about that?
I'm pretty excited about that.
You are excited about it? What makes you excited about her birthday?
Because, I don't know. She's my sister. She's like my mom.
What do you mean she's like your mom? She's motherly or?
She's motherly to me. She pretty much raised me.
Whatever you're comfortable, that's just got to be with you. This is going to be fun. Just relax. It's good.
I'm relaxed.
Hey, the dryer's off.
Yay.
So, okay, so she's motherly.
Yes.
Does that mean your mom isn't around, or is that just mean y'all are close like that?
My mom is around. She
Has always been?
Sort of. No, not really. Never,
Okay.
actually. Even though she raised us, but she wasn't around. She wasn't nurturing like my sister was. So.
She wasn't nurturing, gotcha. And what's the age difference between you and her?
4 years.
And so give me, I guess, the rundown of siblings and mom and dad. What's going on there?
Well, that I know of.
Do you want to like introduce yourself or anything?
Oh, I'm Shelbre.
Anything you want the world to know about you?
I'm a lover.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love all in. With everything I have. I'm a mom.
To your own detriment?
Yes, pretty much. Yeah. So, anyway.
Keep going on listening. And I will be writing stuff down so I can come back and ask you later.
Oh, okay. So anyway, I don't really know all of my siblings. I don't know how many I have or where they're at.
Wait, what?
Yeah. I have, I have a father that's my biological father.
Okay.
That I found out that I had a different dad that raised me when I was 16.
So you're 16 and you find out that the guy that's been raising you isn't your father? Okay.
Yeah.
How did that news come about?
I was different than my family. I was completely different. I always knew that I was different. I looked different. I acted different. I just knew something was different about me. And
Okay.
I always questioned why I was different, I guess, and nobody would ever answer me. And so finally, I had just turned 16, and I had pleaded with my grandma because she raised us too. Me and my sister, my grandma raised us. And I asked her, why am I so different? Why do I not like my mom and my dad together? What is wrong with me? Anyway, she said I needed to talk to my mom, so I finally did talk to my mom, and she told me. And evidently everybody in my whole family knew but me.
When you say family, you mean like brothers and sisters and siblings, or you mean extended family?
Extended family, and one of my sisters knew. It's really a long story.
Is that do you believe that to be the majority of the reason why your relationship with your mom isn't
Yes.
what you want it to be or what you think it should be?
Well, and my mom was, I mean, I have to say, I guess she did the best she could with what she thought she needed to do, but my parents felt that it was best for me that I didn't know. And so I didn't know. And I guess I feel a lot of resentment towards my mother. And she wasn't really nurturing. I mean, I got all of my love and nurturing from my grandma and my father that raised me. And he's a really good man.
Well, that's good.
And I wouldn't be who I am without, had it not been for him.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But then I met my biological father when I was 36. And
you met him for the first time when you were 36?
Mm-hmm.
Is that when you first started looking for him?
No, I've been looking for him since I was 16.
So after 20 years of searching,
Yeah.
Now when I say 20 years of searching, you weren't like every day looking.
No.
You were.
No, in fact, I tried. My sister that she's turning 50 tomorrow, she helped me, and I looked, and back then, we didn't really have much to go on. The internet was not really big, but I tried to get information from my mother, and she would never tell me. She would just lie about it or just not want to tell me anything.
What's the deal with your mom and this guy? So your mom and your dad, or what you thought was your dad, were together. Your mom stepped out of the marriage and slept with another guy and had you, and then you got back in the marriage. Like, tell me the siblings so I understand how this happened.
Okay, so my mom was young, and she was working at Kmart, and she was doing she did hair and stuff like that. So she was back then they had a wig department, and she worked in that department. So my biological father worked in the electronics department, and at the time my mother was dating the dad that raised me.
And your mom already had kids at this point?
My sister with another man.
Okay.
That,
So your sister's about 3 years old. Your mom's working at Kmart, and this is at the time your mom's only child.
Yes.
Your mom's got a 3-year-old. She's working at Kmart. She meets a guy that works in hardware.
Electronics.
Okay. And she's already seeing
my dad.
Okay.
Yeah. So they mess around, and she gets pregnant with me. She tries to go and tell him, I'm pregnant, yada yada, and he says, no, whatever.
He says good luck? Yeah,
good luck and good riddance. So she ends up staying with my father that raised me. I'm gonna cry. He loved me so much that he did not want me to not have a dad. So he married my mother so that I would have a dad. And he's on my birth certificate. So anyway, when I was born...
What's his name?
Ray.
Ray? Good for you, Ray. Good for you, Ray. It's a good thing. It's the best, right?
I haven't talked about this.
It's okay. Take whatever time you need. It's all right. It's all right. It's going to be okay. It's okay. And I don't mean to be short, but this is the whole point, is that you're sharing what you've been through so other people can find inspiration from it. Because there's other people out there that are 16 right now, and they're going through what you went through. And you talking about it is powerful,
It's horrible.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is horrible. I agree. Okay. Wasn't expecting we did.
I'm sorry.
No, that's, it's all good. It's all good.
I just don't, I don't talk about it a lot. It's really, it just makes me mad. I get really angry.
That he wasn't there for you?
Well, when I was born, my mom took me up there and she said, this is your child, and he just He said no.
This was like at Kmart.
Yeah, pretty much. And he said no. That's not my child. Don't ever come back here. Don't ever call me in again. Don't talk to me, whatever. And so anyway, my mom didn't really push the situation because my dad that raised me had already agreed to marry her and be my dad. And so they made a decision to not tell me. And my dad at the time had already, divorced another woman. He had a sister, or a daughter, sorry, my stepsister.
Hold on, say that again. You were what?
The dad that raised me had
What's
already...
his name? Ray?
Ray.
So Ray?
He had already divorced from another lady and had another daughter with her. And she's also 4 years older than me. And so I, at the time, I had two sisters, two half-sisters, a half-sister and a stepsister. And it's so confusing, I know, I'm sorry, but anyway,
So Big Ray steps in and he says, I got this shit.
Yeah. And I had a really good, with my dad, I had a really great childhood.
And you call Ray dad, like still to this day?
Oh, daddy. He's my daddy. Yeah. I don't ever... He's a wonderful man. He's a good dad. He's a hard-working man. And, he raised me as his own and taught me everything I needed to know about cars. That's what we did. We worked on cars together. I was a tomboy until I turned 16. Construction, you name it, I can do it. I can take things apart, put them back together, transistor radios, and just all kinds of cool stuff. And I learned that from him. And
Seems like a cool dude.
Yeah, he's really awesome. He's really awesome.
And where do they live now?
They live in South Arlington with my stepmom. So anyway.
Hold on, your dad lives with your stepmom?
My dad, I have another stepmom. I have two stepmoms and two dads and a real mom.
Oh, so Ray and your mom are not together anymore? No. Gotcha. Okay, were they together when you were 16? Whenever you
Yeah, they
found out?
divorced when I turned 21.
Oh, okay.
They had stayed together until I was old enough to...
And they didn't have any more kids after you?
No.
Gotcha, okay. So it was you and your sister, and then you turned 21 and your parents said, okay, we got the kids raised and we're done? Okay.
Yes.
Was there like obvious problems to you guys before that? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. My mom was she was not a very nice person, and oh my God, I hope she doesn't hear, but she was not very nice. She wasn't loving, she wasn't caring, she wasn't nurturing, and that's why when I say my sister, she was all that for me. So
have you ever spent any time or effort trying to figure out what your mom's thing is? Have you ever talked to her about why she is the way she is?
No.
Have you ever tried to resolve that with her?
Nope.
Or are you just
I don't,
so angry you don't want to talk about it?
I don't even...
Care?
I don't care. I know that's horrible, and I know she's my mom. She's the only mother I'll ever have. But I honestly, I don't speak to her. I don't really have the desire to. I mean, I texted her on Mother's Day, but that was about it. I don't have that bond with her. The bond that I had, that a mother and a child are supposed to have, I had that with my grandma.
Mm-hmm.
And she passed when I was in my late 20s.
Was your mom around and just not helpful? Or was she just not around?
She was around. She just didn't... I don't know what her deal was. I think she just didn't really know how to love. I don't think she really had it in her to be, to be a mother. I know when my grandma passed away, we went through a bunch of her stuff, and I found stuff that my grandma would write down, like in a journal, and she would write that my mom's name is Tina. She would write Tina's out again. And
What do you mean out? Like out of jail?
Like out, no, out.
Oh.
No. She's out again, like out on the town, running around, being promiscuous. And that was one of the reasons why my biological father didn't believe her that I was his, because she was very
Friendly.
promiscuous at the time.
She was friendly.
Yes. And he didn't believe that I was his because she was sleeping with several other people at the time.
So do you believe deep down that the reason why your mother was the way she was is because she didn't want to be a mother?
I don't really know why she was the way she was. I don't think that she didn't not want to be a mother. I just don't think she knew how. I think she probably didn't get the love and that she needed from her parents. I mean, when she was a toddler, she was ran over by her dad in a big, huge truck, and she was in a body cast. And my grandfather was an alcoholic, and he was drinking at the time, and she kind of, I think she feels like she didn't get the love she needed from her dad or her mother at the time, so my grandma. But it's so funny is that she says that, but then my grandma loved us like we were her own. There was custody battles. I mean, we went back and forth between my grandma and my mom, and my grandma finally won custody of us, and that's how we were pretty much raised.
At what age was that?
I was a baby.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't really remember that. I remember just being at my grandma's house all the time and living there, but my sister tells me things that that I don't remember, but she does. And my mom was just mean to her. She was very mean to her. And my sister hasn't spoken to her in years. I mean, like, it's been a very long time.
Do you even know where she's at now?
My mom?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just deliberately avoid her?
Yes. With everything in my body. Like,
Does she want a relationship with
Yes. And my sister.
you? Do you think you'll ever have the ability to forgive her?
No. Yes. I shouldn't say no. I have forgiven her.
Mm-mm. It's okay. I'm just letting you know.
I feel like I have, because I've said it and I've given it to God and I've just washed my hands of it, but I still can't be around her.
Yeah.
I don't want to be.
Yeah. And you don't have to be. Good for you. Good for you. And good for Ray. And good for Grandma.
Yeah.
So what is that? Tell me how that works. Because if Ray seems like a good dude, he's trying to be involved in your life, and then
He still is.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So what's going on with the custody battle? So it's Ray and your mom and your grandma. So what's Ray doing while your mom and grandma are fighting over custody? What's going on?
Ray and my mom split up and they divorced. And then my grandma got custody of us because my mom was not a fit mother. And so when Ray and my mother divorced, my grandma won custody of us. Then my mom tried to win custody back, and the judge wouldn't do it because she was too irresponsible, whatever, back then. I don't really know all the details about it. But then my dad said, I want my daughter, I want my kids back. They got married again, so they've been married and divorced twice. So that the judge could see that my mom was trying to make an effort to have a family and be responsible. And so when my dad and my mom got back together and got married again, the judge turned custody back over to her. And so that was very devastating for my sister.
What age were you when that happened?
I think I was probably, I don't even remember. I don't remember it at all. So I had to be 3 or 4 maybe. I mean, all that took place in a matter of 5 years. The first and the second time, so. And this is all, stuff that my sister has told me, because I don't know anything. I don't remember anything about my childhood. I have one memory about my childhood, and it was of my mother yelling at me because I peed my pants at my sister's birthday party. And she was just letting me have it. And that's it. And I blocked everything else out. And even through high school, I don't really remember much. I was not a good student. I wasn't a good kid. I always got in trouble. I barely graduated. I skipped class all the time.
Did you follow in your mother's footsteps?
No, that I did not do, because and I knew, and I was afraid of that too. And that was one of the things that I always was afraid, that I would just be a horrible mother. I would be, I'd try to go looking for somebody to love me and to give me whatever it is I was looking for. The only thing that I regret is not letting the people who loved me, or the men who loved me, not letting them really love me. I would just push everybody away. But
from fear?
Mm-hmm.
Fear of them leaving?
Just fear of love. I don't know. Back then I just didn't really know what it was. I didn't know how to accept it or reciprocate it. So I just pushed it away. But I met a man. My parents enabled me for so long, and that's another thing, because they tried to protect me, from the truth and from everything else. And, then when I turned 16, I found out about my parents and my dad and all this kind of stuff. And I was having so much trouble in school, and, I tried to kill myself, and I tried to just destroy myself. And they always tried to protect me. So even when I was in my 20s, they were still enabling me, still trying to take care of me, because I just couldn't, I don't know, they just wouldn't let me go. But
how'd you finally get off the tit?
When I turned 21, my dad, Ray, and my mom left the house that I was growing up in, that I've grown up in since I was 8 years old. She left to go be with some other man. My dad left to go be with another lady. They divorced, and I'm in this house by myself, and I'm 21 years old. I've never been on my own. I don't, they took all the furniture, they took all the, the refrigerator, the washer and dryer, they took everything, and I'm here.
Were they renting, or did they own the house?
No, this is our house. This is a house that we built, that my parents built together.
Gotcha.
But my mom left, so my dad left, and I'm sitting there like, okay, I don't even know what to do, and so finally I got a job. I didn't start driving till I was 19 years old, so I didn't even have a car at that time. But I went out, and my dad co-signed for a loan for me, and I got a car, and I started working. And then my mom moved back in after she had gotten out of her apartment. She moved back into the house, and we became roommates. So.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
For real?
Mhm.
For real, for real.
Yeah.
Were you still 21 at the time?
I was 22 at the time. So I lived in that house with pretty much nothing for about a year.
And your mom just calls you up one day and says, I'm coming home.
Yeah. Yes. She said she had signed a year lease, until my dad could get out and get all of his stuff out, and she was already seeing somebody else, and so she moved back home with this guy, and I ended up getting a job, and I had been working, and so I tried, and I moved out shortly after that. And that's, after I was, how old was I? I think I was 23 when I tried to first move out by myself. And I couldn't do it. I didn't know.
How'd you get by for the first year whenever they were gone?
I don't even remember. I just did. I don't, it's, this is like the first time I've talked about all of this. It's even hard for me to remember that part of my life. I don't even know how I got by. I don't even know how.
Do you think that's because you want to forget it?
I don't want to remember it.
You just don't want to think about it, so you just block it out?
Why would I? It was a horrible time in my life. Why would I want to remember that?
So tell me what happens when you track your dad down.
That was amazing.
First of all, how did you figure this out?
Okay.
Tell me how you put together this 20-year puzzle.
Well,
or I guess at that point you were 36. So
I was 36.
This 36-year puzzle.
Okay, so.
First of all, good for you getting through all this shit.
Okay,
good
so
for you. Good for you.
I got pregnant.
Hold on, I just said, tell me about when you met your dad.
I know.
You said, I got pregnant.
I know. But I got to tell you, because, going through like from the age of 23 probably to the age of 28, I was in and out of my home with my mother. Mm-hmm. And I would move out, then I would move back in. I would move out, and then I would move back in. And so we just kind of had this, roller coaster of a relationship. But then I landed a really good job, and it was good money, and I was able to afford an apartment by myself. So that was when I think I was 27 at the time. And that was the first time I actually felt like an adult. Like I had felt like I had broken the chain. I know that's terrible, but I had broken the chains from my mother enabling me for so long. I had an apartment. I had my own car that I got by myself. I had this really good job. And I felt like I was finally going places. I was on cloud 9.
And
then the job that I was at, there was this man who was a director over my department, and we hit it off. I mean, it was, we just started messing around, and I got pregnant, and
this guy's single?
Yeah, no, he wasn't at the time. No. And that was really bad.
Married or just in a relationship?
He was married.
Kids?
And he was, yes. And he was going actually through a divorce. Huh?
What's the age difference?
Between me and him? 15 years older. And he was going through a divorce, but he was still living with his wife. They were just living at opposite ends of the house. And we worked the same shift, and I worked like a 1 to 10 shift, and he worked that same shift. And so we would have drinks or do whatever after work and hang out and stuff. And I got pregnant, but
that must be where the stuff comes in. Hang out and stuff.
Yeah.
That's what you call it.
Yeah. So
something got stuffed.
I did. And I got pregnant. And that's when I started. I was 29 years old. And I started thinking, I really need to find my father. I need to find out if there's any medical issues, if there's anything that I should know about, you know. So I really, really at that time tried to start looking for him. And the internet. I was all over the internet. I was, I didn't really know.
What year is this happening?
Huh?
What year is this happening?
This was 2002.
Okay.
Yeah. And I didn't really know much about my biological father because my mother would never offer up any information. I knew the last name and I knew his first name, and that's it. That's all I knew. So I tried and tried and tried, had finally just given up because I couldn't find him. And I said, Lord, please just bless me with a healthy child. I don't, whatever, just please. And I ended up having a healthy child in 2003, and he's my pride and joy. And
what's his name?
Nicholas. Bubba. I call him Bubba. He's been a Bubba since the day he was born. He's perfect.
Where'd you get his name?
His father, Jeff. Nicholas was his grandfather's name, or Jeff's grandfather's name was Nicholas, and he named Jeff. So we decided to name our son Nicholas Maxwell, and Maxwell is a family name on their side. So
what's his last name?
Petrie.
You got a man's name. I like that.
I love it. It's
I like
perfect.
that.
Yeah, Nicholas Maxwell Petrie.
Good for him. Good for Nicholas and Jeff.
Yeah, so he's a good kid. Oh my gosh, and this is where I can't believe that I actually had it in me to nurture him. Because he's a good kid. He's a very smart. He's just, I don't even know. He's just super smart. He's handsome. He's just a cutie. I love him. He's gone through. He's a sophomore now, but he's always been on the honor roll. He's in all pre-AP classes. He's played sports from baseball, soccer, football, and now he's in track, and he's really good. He's really good at it, and he loves everybody. So, and his dad and I are the best of friends, and we always have been, and even though we didn't work out, we've always been on the same page parenting wise, and we've always put Bubba first no matter what. We knew we weren't going to work out, and when we decided to get divorced, he came in, we sat at the kitchen table, and he drew a line down the middle of a legal pad, and he's like, what do you want? What do you want? I'll take this, and you can take that if you want. And he didn't, he took all the debt, he took everything, and we lived together for almost a year after we were divorced, because he didn't want me to move out without being financially stable. And so I saved up a year's worth of child support checks so I could move out into my own apartment. And he wanted to make sure that Bubba had the best, to live in the best place and be in the best school district. So he's been there ever since. And the apartment that I moved out when I divorced his dad I lived there for 12 years. So that my son could grow up in the same place and the same school district and go to school with all of his friends, and and I didn't move out until he started high school. So.
And then once he started high school, he could drive?
Yeah, he's driving now. Oh my gosh. He's driving now, but he lives with his dad now because his dad, we made a pact that I would raise him until he started needing a man in his life. And things that I couldn't teach him, or, you know, like he came to me one night. He woke me up. He was 12 years old, and he woke me up in a dead sleep and said, Mom, I mean, this was in the middle of the night, and he could not sleep, bless his heart. And he said, Mom, I can't stop looking at your Victoria's Secret catalog. And he said, I feel terrible. I've prayed about it, and I don't know what to do. And so I said, it's okay, honey. It's okay. It's a natural thing that you're going through. And the very next morning, as soon as it was early enough, I called his dad. And I called his dad and I said, it's time. It's time. I don't know what to tell him. I don't know what to do. And he wouldn't hug me anymore, and when he would hug me, it would be like this, and it was so funny. So his dad, we decided then that it was time for him to go live with his dad. But it was funny. But it's been really good because his dad and I, like I said, we've always been on the same page. We've never gone by our divorce decree. We've always just said, if you want to see him, you can see him whenever you want to. And we just did what was best for our son. So, and that's why I say, when I come back and say, when I look back at my mother and how she was to me and my sister, and it was just horrible, and I get really emotional thinking about, I know it was God-given. God gave me the ability to nurture my son because I wasn't taught that. That's something that I feel like your mother is there to teach you how to nurture and to love and to have a bond with your child. And I didn't have that. So I know that my ability to nurture my child is God-given because I didn't have an example. And I was so afraid I never wanted children. I never wanted to have children. I never wanted to be married. I didn't. After seeing, everything that I went through and my sisters went through and my parents went through, I just didn't want that. I didn't want it. I was going to be single and no children for the rest of my life. And, here I'm pregnant, and I was really mad and angry, but it ended up being the best thing that ever happened to me. It was perfect. And I love being a mom. And I never thought I would. That's great. And he's a good kid. And he loves his mama. So. I'm really mad at you.
Do what?
I'm really mad at you.
Mad at me?
No, I'm not. I just haven't talked about this ever,
Well, can I put in my 2 cents here?
Mm-hmm.
First of all, God is good.
All the time.
God is great. Secondly, I like the way you guys handled that. Like, I really love your family, the way they did that. Like, that's amazing. Like, the way Jeff handled you, and that's incredible. That's like an amazing, man. That's a blessing,
Yeah.
And then you guys handling the custody and the responsibilities, and that's incredible. It's incredible.
It's unheard of in this day and age, and people don't understand that. And I've actually lost boyfriends because of that. They don't understand that my relationship with Nicholas's dad. They don't like it. They don't get it. And I'm sorry. My son is, if I was married, my husband would come first, then my children. But, my son and his happiness and his dad, that's really important to me. So. And Jeff feels the same way. And you know, he's been married 3 times, and his second ex-wife, Kimberly, she's like the same. They still talk and hang out. I mean, it's Kimberly's husband and Jeff are best friends. It's really an odd situation. Nicholas was with Kimberly this morning running a 5K. That's Jeff's ex-wife. So, you know, we just all have this bond. It's not about us. It's about the kids. I mean, Nicholas has a sister, Ashley, which is Kimberly's daughter, and that's who Jeff was married to Kimberly, and they had a daughter, Ashley. So that's his sister. And so I just want to make sure that their bond is kept strong, and, you know, that they get to be together. And anyway, it's such a weird situation. And that's why I get, you know, emotional thinking about it, because I know I think that's why I think that's why my ability to be a good mom and to really just look outside of the box, I think that's how me being raised the way I was and not really knowing how to be a good mom, I don't know, it made me look at stuff differently, I guess. So
I can't help but think what an amazing human being Nicholas is going to be.
Oh my gosh, he's so amazing. I mean,
his whole story is incredible to me.
He is amazing. He's so loving, and that's what makes me so happy. He loves everything and everyone. He's got a huge heart, and he doesn't know hate. He just doesn't even know it, because his dad and I have always been cordial with each other. We've never talked ill about each other. Jeff's other ex-wife, Kimberly, she and I have always been very close. I mean, she freaking took care of me. When I came home from the hospital after having Nicholas, I had a C-section, and I couldn't hardly do anything.
He calls his ex-wife and says, "Come here."
My husband, at the time, my husband's ex-wife comes to my house and takes care of me and helps me with the dishes. She cooks for me. She helps me with the baby. You know, she helps get me up. And I mean, you know, it's just, that's the kind of family we are. And that's why I get so excited and emotional all at the same time, because I didn't know that growing up. You know, I didn't know that you could actually be happy and loved and in all different directions, but I don't know. I guess I just decided that I didn't want to live like that. I didn't want to live like my parents lived. It was constant cold and no touching and no kissing and no hugging, and you know, my mom couldn't stand it, because when my dad would come home from work, I would run out and greet him in the driveway, and she hated it. And the fact that I looked just like my biological father. I mean, he's Spanish, obviously, and I looked just like him, and she could not stand that. She couldn't stand it. She couldn't stand to look at me. That's what she would tell me. And that she should have aborted me. Yep. So. And had she, I wouldn't be here. But, you know, I'm glad.
That was only your first near-death experience.
That was, yeah. No, I don't want to talk about my other one. That's stupid. But I'm here, and I'm good, and you know, even though, I mean, I'm going through a divorce right now with my own husband, but that's not any fault of my own.
Tell me about it.
My divorce?
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know why we're getting divorced, honestly. We, he was the first real relationship I had after my ex-husband, because for 12 years, 13. After Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all I did was raise my son. I didn't hardly date. I didn't do, I just focused on my boy, because that was my job, And, I went out and did stuff with my friends and stuff, but I just didn't really have a lot of guy relationships. I didn't really feel like I wanted to at the time, but I met...
Where would... I want to call him Maxwell, like his middle name.
Nicholas.
Where would Maxwell go whenever you'd take a time off to go somewhere, go hang out with your friends? Where would Nicholas go? Okay.
Yeah.
You'd say, hey, I'm going to a concert, me and the girls.
Oh, yeah.
Can you watch him Saturday?
We kind of tried to have some stability for Bubba, because, we actually went to counseling because we wanted to make sure that we were doing the right thing for him, because we were still doing everything together, even though we were divorced and living separately. And the counselor actually told us...
Like, hey, you want to go get something to eat?
Yes. Yes, exactly. And the counselor actually told us that you don't do that, because you're giving him false assumptions that y'all are still together and you're not. And we were just like, okay, well, we feel like it's okay, so we continue to do it. But hey, I'm gonna pay you for your expert advice. I know, but we
never mind. Fuck you.
Yeah. We just felt like, we still wanted Nicholas to know that both of his parents loved him very much, and that we still loved each other. We just we weren't married. So anyway, that's, anytime I wanted to do anything, it was a every other weekend kind of situation. But if there was any time that I had something come up or his dad had something come up, it was like, hey, can you go get him? Or, hey, can we switch weekends? Or, something like that. And that's kind of how it was. If I ever wanted to go do something on his weekend, I would be like, hey, do you want to switch, or do you want to have him 2 weekends in a row, or how do you want to do it, And so, it would be like that. But when I met my husband, we, that was during the transition of Nicholas going to live with his dad. And so I felt this was the time that I needed to start, okay, well, maybe I should start thinking about myself and having a relationship. And I'm ready, I've been alone for a long time. Let's see what it's all about. And, I fell in love with this guy, and we were great for, well, I shouldn't say we were great, because we were not great from the start. And
What's his name?
Johnny.
And where'd you meet him?
I met him at a rodeo. He rides bulls. He
looks like a Johnny that rides bulls.
He's a bull rider.
Yeah.
So we met at a rodeo, and the first time we met, that was it. We were, we were inseparable. And we dated for 4 years, and we decided to get married. And as soon as we got married, it just went to shit.
Hold on. You had to walk me through that.
It did. It was bad. It was, I should have, not.
So we'll describe things before. Like, what are you talking about? What, just a happy 4-year relationship,
no,
issues, problems,
happy.
Like what?
It wasn't happy, and we should have never gotten married. There was...
What triggered it? After 4 years, was there a fight, and it's like, oh, baby, I'm sorry, let's get married? Or is it, I don't understand. After 4 years, what's the thing?
After 4 years, so I was... He drinks a lot, and I was really big into our church, and a lot of the things that I was doing was with the church, but he wouldn't do it because he just didn't really feel like that was his calling or whatever. So the church was putting on marriage classes, and we were having trouble because I didn't really agree with how he was. He's a very, and I don't want to say this because I don't want to say that I'm better than him or anything, but he's still immature a little bit, I guess, because he doesn't really, he didn't like to clean or take care of his financial responsibilities, and he's just still a kid at heart. I think he just never really grew up, and so
I don't like cleaning either, Johnny.
And so I would kind of get on to him about it. Like, I would work 12-hour days and come home, and he and his son would be asleep on the couch, and the house is a mess, and I'd have to come home and cook dinner and clean and do all this stuff. And so it just became get off your lazy butt and do something to help me out, basically. And
knowing all that, you still got married?
Yes. I know. That's why I say we should have never gotten married. And and then I found out a bunch of stuff after the fact. But we went through these marriage classes because I kept begging him to go with me. We don't even have to get married. Let's just go do it. Let's learn about each other and see why we're having the trouble we're having, and maybe we can work through it. So we did these marriage classes, and they were really good. It was called On the Rocks, and I can't remember the guy's name, but anyway, we did it with people from our church. So at first he's like, I don't want those people knowing our business. He was really against it. But I finally convinced him to do it. And when he did it, he was like, wow, this is really awesome, because these people have the same problems as we do, and he participated, and it was really great. And we turned a corner, and things were really good. And we started doing, devotionals, and we started reading our Bibles together, and everything was great. And we got married at our church, and it was a beautiful wedding. It was my dream wedding. And the minute I did not renew the lease on my apartment and started moving my stuff into the house, he flipped out.
Hold on, this is something y'all agreed on?
To live together?
Yeah.
Well, we were married. We had just got married. And that's what I'm saying. So you guys weren't even living together at the time? No. I stayed there like all the time. But I still had an apartment in the city.
Gotcha. So you're staying the night when he's in town. When he leaves town, you go home, whatever, right? He's traveling, right? Is a bull rider?
No, he just did local. He's a welder. That's what he does. He's a welder.
Gotcha.
And he works in a little fabricating metal shop not far from the house. And we lived out in the country. But I always kept an apartment in the city so that I could work and, keep my own space and do whatever. But when we got married, I didn't renew my lease. And so I had to start moving my stuff. And as soon as I started moving my stuff in, he flipped out, and he wouldn't make a space for me, and I didn't have anywhere to put my clothes or my shoes or get ready in the morning. And he wouldn't let me put my bed, like I wanted a master suite so that we could have a place to retreat to, and he didn't like that. And so I ended up storing all of my stuff in a back bedroom and the closet, and I had to get rid of a bunch of my stuff, which I should have never done, because he didn't like it, like my work clothes and heels, and he just didn't like it. And so I thought, well, maybe just give it some time and he'll settle down, and he never did. And we haven't even been married a year. And I filed for divorce in March. He I know it's such a crazy situation. It's really stupid. He told the elders at our church, because I needed an intervention pretty much. I was like, y'all need to help us. This is gonna kill us. This is gonna destroy us. He told them, I don't like her shit. I don't want her shit in my house. So, and then shortly after that, he started, there's this, one of his best friends is a horrible, toxic person, and I didn't like him being around us, and he would go to the bars and hang out with him. And one night he did that, and I was bawling my eyes out, begging him not to go, because we had a fight, and he left. And that was it. The next day I filed for divorce. And he didn't even care. So we're divorcing. But now he's like, he won't sign the papers. And our final hearing is on the 29th. And he still hasn't signed the papers.
What happens if you don't sign?
Well, because I thought we could be amicable about the situation, so I didn't have him served by a constable. And he was supposed to fill out a waiver of service, and he never did. And so when I called to schedule the final hearing, she was like, he has to do that, or the judge won't see you. And I said, well, just schedule it, and I'll make him do it that day. So, but I'm still paying his cell phone bill, I'm paying his car insurance, I'm paying for his DirecTV bill, I'm paying for, let's see, what else am I paying? Anything and everything, so, plus my own bills.
Is your name Jenny?
Why?
Oh man, one time me and Andrew were in a Cavender shopping, and we were in the dressing rooms, and Andrew heard this guy answer his cell phone. you can tell he's talking to his buddy. It's like Friday night, we're all about to go out, we're all like buying a shirt or something, and that guy's doing the same thing. And he's like, hell no, man, but I'll be there in a minute. I'm at Cavender spending Jenny's tax return.
Oh my God. Pretty much.
So whenever you said you're spending money on dudes, I always hear about it, but I never see it. Like, I've never done it. I've never taken women's money. And
I've never done that before, but I did for this family. I did. Because I made twice as much as he did. And everything, he paid the rent with his paychecks. We lived in an old farmhouse on 100 acres, and he's been there, he had been there with his previous wife, or they had been there for 15 years, and but I wanted, I was like, well, we're not going to be here forever, let's get our own land. My biological dad has land out in Austin, and we have cattle, and we have all kinds of good stuff out there. I said, we can get some cattle from my dad and, buy our own land. And he was very content of living in a rental farmhouse that was run down and crap and only had one bathroom, and it was just nasty, and they didn't live clean, and I couldn't stand it.
You mean him and his son?
Yeah. So, and I would gripe about that all the time, and I ended up...
How old's his boy?
His boy he's 12 now. But, I would walk into the freaking bathroom and step and piss, because they're just gross. And so I ended up being a bitch and griping about stuff like that. Like, put the seat down, or clean up. If you miss, clean up, please. Clean the bathtub out after you take a bath, because there's mold in there. Put the dishes away. Do something. Sorry. I'm not a clean person. I'm not like a clean person. I'm messy. I'm very messy. But there's a line.
I'm messy, but not filthy.
That's it. Right there. Yes, that's what I was trying to say. Because I have clothes everywhere in my apartment. My clothes are in my closet. No, I shouldn't say I have clothes everywhere because my clothes aren't hanging up, but but my dishes are always clean, and my bathtub is clean, and my toilet is clean. Which I don't have accidents because I'm a lady, but anyway, I ended up being just a griping, nagging bitch about shit like that. And he couldn't stand it because he was like, well, I guess I'm a piece of shit. No, that's not it, but...
Because you wanted some help not living like trash?
Yes. And... I mean, he still has PBR emblems on his refrigerator and on the door, and all over his bedroom it says welcome rodeo fans, big banners and stuff. And I'm like, you're 40 something years old and you're still riding bulls, which is fine. I'll support you, and if that's what you want. We took my little Mercedes all over the freaking country so he could go to his bull rides, and I put numerous amount of miles so he could go to his bull rides and pay his fees, and when he couldn't. And I mean, that poor car, it just... Anyway, I felt like I gave so much to the family and to the relationship and didn't get a lot back, but I'm sure that's every lady's or woman's argument with a man that she doesn't work out with. So but anyway, but we still talk. He'll text me every once in a while, and I'm kind of doing my own thing now. And
to get some ass?
No, he doesn't. It's another thing. He didn't want to have sex anymore. And I wanted to, and we'd fight about that.
Let me just go ahead and slow you down right there. It's not that he doesn't want to have sex. He don't want to have sex with you.
Yeah.
That means he's sleeping with somebody else. Or wants to.
Yeah.
Men don't turn that off.
Well, I mean, he did not turn it down, but he just didn't want to do it as much as I did.
Yeah.
So.
You're thirsty.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, that's that. And I'm not really sad about that. I'm sad that I invested so much time into a relationship that didn't work out, but I don't want to. I mean, I'm 46 years old, and I just don't want to be stuck, and I don't want to settle. So.
When's your birthday?
August.
August what?
2nd.
You look like a fall baby.
Do I? I love being a Leo.
Rawr. Check on the dogs, then I got slobbered on. I hope it doesn't smell like dogs over here. I tried to clean a bunch before you got here.
It's all good. I have a dog.
And it's shedding season. I don't give them baths like I should. I need to do it more often. I'm a bad dad.
No, you're not. I have a little dog, though.
How old?
She is... probably probably a year old now. She was. I got her last November, but she was a rescue. So.
What prompted that?
I don't know. I just said, one of my friends on Facebook was like, I can't keep her. And I said, I'll take her. And so I did. And I've had her ever since. And she's a sweetheart.
Aren't they, though?
Oh, she's so cute.
How long has it been since you had a dog?
Oh my gosh. Since I was a kid.
Oh, man, it's the best, isn't it?
Well, I've had cats my whole life. Like, I've had cats. When I moved out, I got cats. And I thought, oh, I'm a cat person. I'm a cat person. I'm a cat lady. And I got this dog as an adult. And I will never have a cat again. I love dogs. I love her. She's just, it's a different kind of love that dogs give you.
Oh, it's incredible.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Oh, she's so sweet.
I can't tell you how much sleep I've lost from one of them falling asleep on my foot, and I won't get up.
Yeah.
I won't get up until they move.
Yeah.
So I'll either just stay awake or I'll fall asleep in my chair and not get very good sleep. But yeah, I won't move until they're done.
Yeah. She's perfect. She's like, came into my life right at the right time, and I don't know. I just feel like I could do anything with her. Get through anything with her. Because she's always there. And she'll always be happy to see me.
Every time.
Every time.
Every time.
So, Charlie Sue.
It's incredible, isn't it?
I wish humans could love that way.
It's wild.
Yeah.
That's all they know.
I know.
Is it weird that I know you're not going to hit this?
How do you know I wouldn't?
I just don't think you would.
I won't.
Yeah.
My job. I can't do that.
Yeah.
But I would.
When's the last time?
I was at a Five Finger Death Punch concert, and that was just last year. I used to smoke all the time. Not anymore, though.
It's a shame because I got some gas right now.
I bet you do.
It's starting to stink up the shop. Customers are smelling it the next day.
For real?
For real.
Seriously?
It happened.
What?
Yeah. So.
Well, I smelled it when I came in, so. Up here, though.
I hadn't smoked any then, so it was just out. So it was just out. It was just in the room.
Oh.
But I hadn't smoked any yet. That's how strong it is. And it was in that glass jar.
I smelled it.
Yeah.
But I have a really keen sense of smell.
Yeah. So you can imagine what it smells like at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning the next day after I've been up here smoking. Yeah, it's ripe. So yeah, apparently this stuff is pretty
Potent.
pretty stout.
Smells good.
Feels good.
I bet it does. Damn.
Maybe someday.
I will.
So have you ever started your own business?
No. Not really like this or anything, but I dabble in, the little multi-level marketing stuff, but not like to the point where I want to go out on my own. I love my job. Like, I have the best job ever. Like, ever.
What is it?
I am the patient access manager for USMD Hospital at Arlington and Fort Worth.
What the fuck is that?
I'm over surgical, radiology, and emergency room registration. So all of the non-clinical staff that, registers patients in the surgical units and emergency room. So, over both hospitals.
And you just take phone calls all day?
Well, I manage people that take phone calls and do stuff. And register patients. Like if you had something that you needed to come to the hospital for, then you would come and you would see my girl. And she would ask you for money. And she put all your stuff in the computer, and I do all the work comp too for the hospitals. Work comp patients that come through our doors. And I do finances, hospital finance, revenue cycle management. So, but I've been there for 10 years, and it's nice.
What do you love about it?
The fact that I work for two amazing ladies. And I'll tell you, the company I've always been in healthcare, but the company that I worked for before this job was Medical Clinics of North Texas.
What are those ladies' names?
Lisa and Lola.
Shout out to y'all.
Yeah. The company I worked for, Medical Clinic of North Texas, I was a clinic supervisor, and I had 75 employees, and that was probably the biggest gig I ever had. Well, not until now, but I thought I was, the shit. And I loved that job because there was 9 internal medicine doctors, a psychotherapist, 2 OB-GYNs, and we had a full on-site lab and MRCT in our suite. And it was just the coolest thing. I loved that job too. And the doctors loved me. And they called on me for anything and everything I could do to help with patients, with them. Personal assistant, you name it. I would do it for them because, I love doing it, And the administrator over the clinic, which was my boss, she didn't like it. She didn't like me. And she fired me. She fired me on the last day of the month, so I didn't have any benefits. And I was a single mom, and I was freaking out. And so I filed, and she fired me with no warning, like nothing. I'd never been written up, nothing, no warnings, nothing, verbal, written, anything. So I went and filed for a wrongful termination. I filed a wrongful termination suit, and I filed for unemployment, and I won. And so, but during that process, I had gone and interviewed with USMD and was hired on the spot. And so I wasn't even off long enough to get any of my benefits because it was within a week I was already rehired. And so I went to work for USMD, and a year later we merged with MCND, the company that fired me. It was just like, haha. And I'd already been promoted, and I've been promoted 3 times with this job. It's just been a blessing. The best thing I love about this job is Lisa and Lola. That's what I was getting at. And they are women who are in very high level executive positions who have shared their knowledge with me and who have wanted me to grow and given me the tools and the resources so that I can further my career and grow as an employee. And I've never had that. That's really hard to find in any organization, is have women support other women. In the role I was in before, the lady above me wanted to thwart me. She wanted to just keep me. She didn't want me to take her job, basically. So, and it inhibited me to thrive. And so this job, Lisa and Lola have totally just given me free reign. And I've grown, and it's perfect. I love it. So, and I'm good at what I do. I love it. So,
shout out to strong women.
I know, right? I love them. And, you know, it's so funny because they both, Lisa and Lola, Lisa's like been a second mom to me. She's always just loved me and taken me on, but, and Lola as well. But they both, Lisa did everything with my wedding. Like, she catered it. She made all the decorations. It's horrible, but I feel bad, you know, because she spent so much time and money on that for my dream wedding, and it didn't even last. But she doesn't like Johnny. She never has. So she's happy that I'm divorcing him.
Well, good for her for being a good friend in spite of that.
Awesome.
That's amazing.
She's wonderful.
That's incredible. You know some amazing people.
I've been blessed.
Yeah, you have
I
no
really
idea.
have. I don't understand, and you know, sometimes you, dude, you're amazing. I swear, I don't even understand how the people
What did you smoke?
The people who come into my life, you came into my life at a time where you have no idea how much you have helped me.
Get off the gas.
I'm serious. I'm serious. I don't even know how we found each other. I don't know how you found me, or how even we only had one person in our area. I don't even know. I don't know, but you came into my life at a time where I know I needed it. And you have really helped me. And I've told you that time and time again. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyway.
That was sweet. Thank you.
I have really great people in my life. I'm very blessed.
Yeah, you are.
That have just, you know, just helped me all along the way, guided me, directed me when I didn't know where to turn or what to do or which way to go. And I know it's him.
You show right. You show right. Good for you. You made it.
I did. I'm gonna make it. You're so funny.
Good for you. Good for you. I'm happy for you.
Thank you. I've got a ways to go. I need to deal with a bunch of shit that I refuse to deal with. But
You do?
yeah.
You do?
You know, I need to figure out why I get so emotional and angry. I shouldn't be like that anymore. It was 30, 40 years ago, so you know, I do try to mend things with my mother, but as soon as I do, she starts in on me, and I just have to push her back because I can't have that in my life, because it leads me down a path that I know is wrong.
What is it that she wants? Like, what is it that she drives you to do, or what's the problem? She still tries to control me, and I get to the point where, like, she'll still talk to me and I'll feel like I feel like I'm back in a time in my life where her words just hurt me, and I don't like that. I don't want to be like that. I can't be in that. I can't. So I just have to tell her, I'm like, you know, I'm not a 12-year-old child anymore. You can't tell me what to do. You know, I'm a woman. I have my own
family. I'm my own person. I've done well for myself. And I still think she just is, she doesn't want us, never wanted us to be successful, or we were never going to be much of anything. Especially my sister. And my sister is freaking phenomenal. I mean, she's been with her husband for 32 years. They were high school sweethearts. 33 years now. 3 girls, all college graduates, successful teachers. One of my nephew-in-law he teaches at Crowley, the high school, but it's not Crowley High School, it's something else.
Crowley North.
Or it's, yeah. Is it Crowley North?
There's Crowley and there's Crowley North.
It starts with
or
an
North
H.
Crowley.
Is it middle school, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, he's a basketball coach.
I'm still new here, okay.
And, they're from here and stuff, though. But, they're just good. I mean, my sister's done so well. She's raised 3 amazing daughters who are very successful and Christ-like and just good, honest people. And I know, gosh, my sister and I took everything that my mom didn't do for us and we incorporated it for good, So I'm very happy and I can't wait to see her. Tammy.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's her name? Let's go down the list of names there.
Yeah.
So your sister's name is Tammy. So shout out to Tammy.
Tammy Sue.
And then tell me about the family, the husband. Let's start with him. For 32 years, that's amazing.
Randy. They were high school sweethearts. And
shout out to Randy. That's
oh my
cool,
gosh.
Man. That's
and
cool.
he's
Good
awesome too.
Good for you, man.
Yeah.
And 3 girls for him? I mean, come on now. Come on. Give the man his due.
I know.
Give the man his due.
He's surrounded by women. It's so funny. But he's raised them all as basketball. He's a basketball coach, and they're all a big basketball family. So, but he's a good man. He would pick me up from junior high school in his IROC Z that was the coolest ever back in the 80s, and I thought I was the shit. He picked me up right in front, and T-tops off, and it was awesome.
That's cool. What kind of music did he listen to? What was he playing?
Back then?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
Come on now, you got to know this.
Boston or ZZ Top, you name it. All the classic rock kind of stuff. It was fun. I don't know I can't remember, but Bryan Adams was a big thing back then because they would always say they're going to the Bryan Adams concert, and they really didn't go. But they go to do you remember when they had record stores and in the malls and stuff? Yeah. And he would go, and they bought me this poster, Bryan Adams poster, and said they got it at the concert because they didn't really go, but they had to act like they went. And so I had this Bryan Adams poster on the back of my door forever because I was in love with him. He goes, oh. But anyway, he is fun. But he's been in my life since I was a kid, so I've grown up with him. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, they're good. They're good. I mean, that's another reason why I think I'm good, because I have had them as role models in my life. Because if it weren't for my sister, I'd be dead. I'm almost positive. So, and we wouldn't be having this conversation. And not a lot of people know that.
You made it.
I did. Still trying.
God is good.
All the time.
Tammy's good.
My sissy's good. And she's going to be so surprised because this is a surprise birthday party. And she thinks we're going to Jason's Deli tomorrow because that's what we do every year. So she's going to flip out. She's the most giving, selfless person in the whole world. I really hope you get to meet her someday. Oh my God, you will just fall in love with her. She's so amazing. She is just everybody. She will put everybody else before her own needs all the time.
And she's a teacher?
No, she's not. My nieces are teachers.
Oh, okay.
All of my nieces. Oh, except for the youngest one.
Okay.
But no, my sister, she keeps kids. She has like an in-home daycare, and she's done that since forever, like forever.
And she's like the perfect person for it.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. Wow. Yes.
I have a friend, her name is Joanna, and I wish that's what she would do. She is pretty much I've known this girl for 20 years probably. I'll have to go but do the math on that, but probably 20 years. But like a career, like she made a career out of 3 things. Educating herself, pretty much as long as I've known her, she's gone to school. Being married, well, I guess 4 things. Being married, she's with the same guy, most of the time. Work, always working, and being a mother. Like she has a son. I'm gonna probably mess up his age, but he's probably about 20. It's about 20, and then she has, I think, 3, maybe 4 more. I'm gonna butcher this, but she's got 3 or 4 more, and she'd probably have 10 more if she could. Like that's all she wants to do is be a mother, educate herself, have a job, like a socializing type job where she's bringing in money, that type of thing, and then being a wife. I mean, she's just that.
Yeah.
And I think she would enjoy doing in-home daycare, that type of thing. She'd be perfect for that.
My sister's really good at that because she just has a huge heart.
Yeah.
And she's very selfless. So yeah, she's gonna be so excited though because she has no idea. No idea.
So what are you guys really gonna do instead of going to? You said going to Jason's Deli tomorrow. Like what's the?
They rented a in Burleson. There's this place called Old Town Brewery. I think it's what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
And they've rented the whole top section.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So
that's awesome.
I mean, it's a family gathering, obviously, but it's I know there's going to be a bunch of her friends, and
that's awesome.
Yeah, so she has no clue. And I texted her the other day.
But she thinks y'all are going to take her to Jason's Deli?
Yes, because we do that every year. That's just our thing because we have so many people that come, and Jason's Deli, you can get anything you want, and it's inexpensive. So we can have a big group of people and not expect them to pay an arm and a leg to go to this fancy restaurant or whatever. But my niece told me, she said, okay, so sometime this week you need to text her and just say, hey, are we still on for Jason's Deli on Sunday? And so I did that yesterday. And just to kind of throw her off, not to, so she wouldn't think that anything was going on. And she texted me back and she said, yes. She was just, and so I told my niece that, and she's like, she's so mad. She's so mad because she thinks we're going to Jason's Deli and nobody's going to do anything for her big 50th birthday. But so she'll be really happy. It's funny.
That's awesome.
Because she does like this kind of stuff for everybody else.
Yeah.
And nobody really ever does, So she'll be happy. I'm really excited.
That's awesome. Take lots of pictures. I want to see them.
I will.
Man, God's been good to you.
I'm telling you.
Jeez, I can't get over it.
And
I didn't know people live like this. I didn't know this was a thing. All the stuff you're telling me, this is all news to me.
Oh, there's
this is
so
all
much
news to
more.
me.
There's so much more. Because I haven't even explored my biological father's side of my life yet. Because I've had,
Did you ever even finish telling me how you found him?
My sister Tammy found him.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we didn't get into this.
Yeah, on
then.
Ancestry.com of all places.
Wow.
And that's a whole different story because I actually found his wife, my stepmom, and she works in Austin, and I had made a phone call and she was on vacation because not vacation, she was on leave because my Aunt Alice on my biological father's side had just passed away, and I had left a message for her on her work phone and didn't hear from her for a week because she was out, with the funeral and stuff like that. But when she came back to work, she got my message and then gave it to my dad. My dad called me and
What'd you say on the
I
message?
I said,
This
hello.
This has got to be a holy shit moment for somebody.
It was. And I didn't know what to say. I said, my name is Shelbre. I said, I was born in 1972 in Dallas, Texas. I said, I'm looking for anyone who may know my biological father. His name was Arturo Balderrama. He would have worked at Kmart in the 70s and grown and lived in or around the Grand Prairie area. I said, if you know him or if you're kin to him, could you please have him call me? And a week passed and nothing. So I was like, fine, forget it. I'm done. And then the very next Monday, when she got back into her office, and I got home from work that day, there was 52 missed calls. Back then I had a little caller ID thingy, and he had called me 52 times trying to get a hold of me. And it's like, hello, this is Art. And so when I got home, I called him and we spent like an hour on the phone together talking. And obviously it was him, but he wanted me to send him a picture. And no, I told him, I said, I need to send you a picture to make sure, you know. And so I sent him a picture of me and my son, and it was a Christmas picture. And he was like, because I wanted to, you know, I was like, we need to do a DNA test and all this kind of stuff. And he was like, we don't need to do a DNA test. You look just like me. You look just like my sister. You look just like my mother. You know, I have the Balderrama blood and the genes is in me so bad. It's uncanny. But I look just like my father, my biological father. So there he was like, you're my daughter. And I met him a year later because it took me a year to get up enough courage to meet him in person. And I met him a year later, and it was like we had never been apart. If you can believe that. And I love him with all my heart. I love my stepmom. And my dad, Ray, he is very happy that I found him because, you know, and it was like I needed that from my missing. I felt like I had a missing piece my whole life. And I needed to find and meet him for closure, I guess. And even I found out I had a brother, I have another sister, a whole other side of family. So anyway, that's, you know, that's a whole another hour of talking because there's so much more. but I love I love both my dads. So
what a blessed life.
Yeah. Yep. It's been pretty awesome. Return on investment.
Mm-hmm. So what time do you need to leave here to do your birthday party?
Now.
Aren't I good?
You're awesome. They want us to be there by 6.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. Thanks. I mean, I feel like I need to do this again with you, but maybe not on the stuff.
I took notes, yeah, so we definitely got to do another one. Because I didn't even get to, there's questions I wrote down. I got to go back and I got to ask you.
You know, I've talked to counselors. I probably spent a year or two, almost. No, it's probably about a year and a half, but and still don't feel like I still don't feel like I've dealt with what I need to deal with. You know, I feel like I've dealt with it because I've given it all to God and just wanted to get it out of my body because I felt like it was just making me poison, like it was poison for me. but I still feel like I need to do something with it. Just not sure what. Does that make sense? I still feel like I still feel like it poisons me. And maybe hinders my ability to have successful relationships in my life.
What does?
Harboring my past. The issues I have with my mother. People talk about daddy issues. I don't have daddy issues. I have 2 great dads. So, but anyway.
I guess it depends on where you want to focus your attention.
Yeah. So, thanks for this.
Thank you. Anything you want to say before we go?
Not on here.
If you could say one thing, if you could put up a billboard.
Oh.
If you could put up a billboard.
Okay.
I'm stealing this question from somebody, Tim Ferriss, but it's a good question. If you could put up a billboard, what would you put on it?
Gosh, that's a hard one. I mean, the obvious choice would be to love, but don't judge. It's so ironic that judging somebody is wrong, but we know it's wrong. I mean, people, it's wrong, but they still do it. And I just wish that people would not do that, because when you see somebody, you just don't even know. You don't even know what they've been through, what they're going through. I mean, somebody can look at me and not even know. I tried to kill myself. Stupid stuff. That was a long time ago.
You made it. You made it.
But I know that's like a meme floating around really a lot lately, because social media is so in tune to, people in their situations, but everybody's fighting a battle you know nothing about. So be kind to people. Just be nice. So that would be it.
I love it. I love you.
I love you.
I don't want you to be late to your beautiful sister Tammy's surprise 50th birthday party, so
I think it's time I made us up for niggas who know. I graduated at the streets, I'm a real OG. I've been trapping, shooting pistols since I stood on feet. So while you niggas acting bad, you gon' have to show me. You gon' make me bring a Chevy to a real slow creep. My niggas hanging at the window, mouth full of gold teeth. When the guns start, I've been wondering when it's gon' see. Chopper hit you in the side and create a slow beat. We can end the speculation, cause today we gon' see. What's the future of a pussy nigga hating on me? I give a fuck about the feds' investigation on me. I don't care that they at my shows and they waiting on me. I'ma keep on flossing, popping all these tuners on the beat. Tell police I ain't stopping, I'ma keep it in the streets. Contrary to your beliefs, I'm as real as you can be. Fuck your thoughts and your feelings, nigga, you don't know. You might have seen me in the street, but nigga, you don't know. When you holler, when you speak, remember you don't know. Save all the hating and the popping, nigga, you don't know. You were telling niggas you my partner, nigga, you don't know. Don't be a groupie, keep it moving, nigga, you don't know. Hey, I ain't tripping, cause the truth is really you don't know. Yeah, you know they call me T.I., but you don't know. You be hating and I see why. picking up and asking what's the deal on the key. I don't know if you wearing wide, you could be the police. If I was slanging blow, you couldn't get a OC. See me in the PNC falling through at a show key. Police holding up the dope, but they know we tote heat. I just wanna rap with C, blow,